No, my camera's off. My microphone is not. Hey, Kyle.
Well,
Just letting you know that we're going to go live on Facebook.
yep.
So if you wanted to turn your camera off until you were ready,
Okay.
that would save you from.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
I have the dual laptop set up here.
For our online planning board meeting. First item is a roll call. Tonight we have with us, we've got Joe Sprecher, we've got Judd McIntosh, we've got Mike Costello, we've got Lisa Buck, John Beckett, and myself, Phil Ruck. We expect others, and you will see their names as they appear on the screen later. Next up is acceptance of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Very good. Can I get a second?
Do we want to alter the agenda to move?
Yes, I'm going to. I just we got to get the motion in a second,
Yep.
and then I'll discuss it. Thank you for the reminder, though.
Yep.
All right. So I got a second from Mike Costello. Did you see that, Jessica?
Just unmute. I second.
Okay. Yep. So I just want to mention one thing. Kyle had emailed everybody that our item C on our new business has tabled that application. So what I wanted to do is move it to the top so that people that might not have gotten that message, that we will not be covering that this evening. We can hopefully put that off till the next monthly meeting and then move on to the other business, because we should be able to deal with that very quickly. Any concerns with that? All right, I guess hearing none. So we have a motion, we have a second. I suppose we do. So as amended, I always have to remember my rules, Kyle. That should be fine, right? As long as
Sure.
all in favor. There you go. What are we going to do? Raise our hand. All right. Good.
Aye.
Unanimous for what we have here. All right. Next up, approval of the minutes of our February 26th, 2020 meeting. Our chief editor is not with us. I have not seen yet. So anybody else have any comments on the minutes of February 26th? And I do see Dave Thompson has joined us as well. Any comments on those minutes?
Yeah.
I guess that's fine. Thank you. Great job, Jessica. Can I have a motion, please?
I wasn't there for the meeting, so I can't.
Okay, thanks, Mike, for bringing that up. So do we have a quorum? I just want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6. Anybody else?
So it looks like
Judd wasn't there and Dave wasn't there. We do not have a quorum.
just the
Just for the minutes. Correct?
we had a comment that just from town staff that for any votes we'll need Jessica to take a roll call vote.
Okay,
I guess
very good. I don't believe we're going to have to table this one unless, oh, Krista is here. So how many do we need for our quorum, Kyle?
4.
What?
4.
Okay, well, we're fine. Krista just joined us. So Krista, we have, I said, before we vote on this, we're at the item for approval of the minutes. Do you have any comments? So I'm putting you on the spot. You join and I'm making you work right off the bat. Need to unmute. Could you, we can't hear you.
Unmute,
Can you?
okay.
There we go. That's
Hear me
better.
now?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any comments on
Okay,
our meeting minutes?
page 13.
Okay.
And let's see if I can find it. Okay. Okay, page 13, pretty close to the middle of the page. There's a paragraph that starts, there was also some debate whether to increase the minimum F&A canopy size. In the last sentence says, council decided to go forward with a minimum already specified in the ordinance. I think we meant to say the planning board decided to go forward.
Apologies. We had terrible audio for the last meeting, so putting the minutes together was a bit of a struggle. So I'll make that change, Krista. Thank you.
Good catch. Others?
That's it.
Well, very good. There were no other comments, so can I get a motion for the minutes and recall? So again, the people that were not here last time, I think Mike, Judd, you weren't here, Dave, you weren't here, and Mike. So everybody else that was in attendance that evening, do I need to designate somebody now? I guess, is that, or for minutes, or do we need to do that? I think we can just vote on it, right? Kyle, back to you.
I think so.
I think for voting on minutes, I don't think I need to designate anybody.
No, unless I hear otherwise, we can.
All right, so can I have a motion with Krista's edit?
So moved.
Very good. Can I get a second?
Sure.
Thanks, Joe. And any further comment? And back to you, Jessica. We need a roll call vote.
Kyle, can you just explain to me how that's done? I haven't had to do one before.
So I think just go one by one through the members with how they are voting.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Just going to go in the order that it is on my screen. Mr. Sprecher,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. McIntosh,
He has to abstain because he was not at that meeting.
okay. Mr. Costello,
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Lisa,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Krista,
Wave your hand, Krista.
Oh, Krista, you're muted.
Unmute. Okay, yes.
yes, okay. Mr. Thompson,
He has to abstain as well.
got it. Thank you.
Very good. All right, moving on. Old business. I don't see any old business. New business. We have 3 public hearings. Again, we're moving item C up to the top. That was a minor site plan review application for an accessory use at 36 Oak Street that would allow Verizon Wireless to place equipment within the steeple of the structure. Kyle, can you give us a quick summary of what the status of that is, please?
Sure. So the applicant had reached out to me to just say that with some of the concerns they had heard both from public comments that were coming in, as well as staff still having some remaining pieces of information that we were looking for, wanted to table the discussion for now as they were still putting together additional information and come forward to have discussion in full next month at the June meeting. Phil, you're muted.
There you go. Is it on mute? There we go.
Yeah.
Procedurally, do we need to open a public hearing? And I think I asked you that question the other day, and then table that, or do we just put it off?
I think we can just table it as is. I don't believe we have to open the public hearing.
Okay, very good. We'll go with that. So I'm going to need a motion to table that until we understand next month they'll be coming back before us.
A motion, we table it to next month, until June.
Thank you, Mike. Can I have a second?
I second.
Very good. Motion a second. Any further discussion? Again, Jessica, I'm putting you on the spot again, around the horn for the vote.
Yes, I'm fine to table it till next month.
Okay. Judd,
I'm fine, table it.
Mike,
Table it.
Lisa,
Table.
John,
Table.
Phil,
Table.
Krista,
Table.
Dave,
Dave?
Dave.
Okay.
Table.
There we go. All right, that was unanimous. Very good. We'll see them next month. Next up, we have a minor site plan review application by Cryptic Laundry LLC to operate a laundromat at 44 Main Street in the rear of the building. Typically what we do, turn it over to the applicant to give us just a brief summary of what you propose, and then we'll step through the process. So could you tell us what you'd like to do, please?
So I think the applicant is in the comments currently as a member of the public, but not in the meeting as of yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Matt, are you here then? Are you able to talk? I think, okay, there we go.
You gotta get all your stuff out, bud. I know.
Just so I can be clear, I have not been paying attention to the chat so that I know what's going on while we're talking. Do I understand that Jessica will be responding on the fly to the chat questions?
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on comments. And when you open the public hearing, I'll read in anything relevant that's been shared.
Very good. So is Matt, yeah, I do see Matt in our screen now. He's participating. Matt, can you give us a summary of what you propose to do, please?
I don't know if he can, I think he might need to be unmuted. I don't know if that's something that we have to do on our end. If he's, okay, there we go.
Here, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can.
Okay, hold on. I had called in via cell, but you guys couldn't hear me that way. So basically, it's an automated micro laundromat. I don't think there's enough demand in downtown for a full-size laundromat. We don't have the space for it. So it's basically a small, like 5-set laundromat. So there'd be 5 washers, 5 dryers, fully unattended, right down in the Village District.
Mm-hmm. Very good. That it, or do you have any more detail?
No, I think that's it. Yep.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Matt. Kyle, I'm gonna throw it back at you. If you prepared a summary of the application for the board, could you go over that, please?
Sure. First question, I just had a question for Matt because it sounds like a little bit of a change. The application showed 4 washers and 4 dryers, and you just mentioned 5 of each. Is that I mean, if they're all within that same space, it's not much of a change or a difference in the land use aspect, but I was just curious about that.
Can you clarify, Matt? Or Matthew, whichever you prefer.
There we go. I think I'm unmuted.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, Kyle, 4 to 5, I should have said. I was in dialogue with the state fire marshal's office, and we were talking about both numbers. So I would say 4 to 5. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, that doesn't really change much from what the report mentioned. The project is in a building in the Village Commercial at 44 Main Street. The business would be located behind where currently Ameriprise is located. The lot meets the minimum lot size. It's about 3,500 square feet. The minimum lot size downtown is 2,000 square feet. It doesn't meet the required frontage to be a legal lot of 50 feet. It only has 39 feet of frontage. But since it is an existing structure and there's no additions being proposed, it's simply a change of use within the structure. It's considered to be a legally non-conforming lot, as comes up numerous times here in town. The applicant provided a copy of the deed to the property. I reached out to both the Orono Water Pollution Control Facility and Orono VZ Water District, and they both had no objections as far as serving the new use. There are really no natural features as it's downtown and the whole site is currently developed. Laundromats in general are an allowed use in the Village Commercial District through site plan review. The businesses in the Village Commercial require no minimum parking amount, and with the Pine Street parking lot right there, access doesn't seem to be too much of a question. There was no proposed lighting on the application by the applicant. As far as signage, the applicant did submit after the fact, just in writing, that he would like one lit 5-foot in diameter circular sign, which would be about 20 square feet, which is well under what is the maximum allowed in the district. So because there was no sketch of placement for the sign on the building, I simply wrote in as one of the conditions that the code officer, when issuing a building permit or occupancy permit, would have to give the final okay on the location of the sign. But in general, the concept seems like it would meet the ordinance requirement. The applicant was still working with the State Fire Marshal's office as far as what needs to be done to get a permit through them for the inside of the building, but that doesn't really have any impact on approval at this level. That would just be something that would need to be done before the final permits by the code officer were given. So yeah, it's a pretty simple project, and that was really all from staff.
Good. Thank you, Kyle. I guess I will open up the public hearing now. We're going to start with a discussion from the board, and then I'll invite any comments from the public that's attending. So just one or two quick questions. So access, I'm just curious, Matt, is that from the municipal parking lot in the back? Did you say?
Looks like he said yes, correct, in the chat.
Okay. I remember that, and this is back in the day, that the staircase was a little lacking back there, and I think that's all been approved. So Kyle, as somebody looked at that from the town, that's all up to code and
right. So the plan was reviewed by our life safety inspector.
Okay.
Who voiced no concerns over that, and right, and any final permitting will be given by the code officer who would utilize the standards that he uses.
Right. One quick question, Matt. You did say you had spoken with the fire marshal, and you mentioned 4 to 5, and there didn't appear to be any issues. And I wouldn't think there'd be a great difference between 4 and 5 sets of washers and dryers. Did you happen to, just so we had something on the record, did you happen to mention that, or to our reviewer, water district, any relevant reviewers from the town saying that 4 to 5, or I don't think there's going to be any issue, but just curious.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so those stairs out back, you're right, those were terrible years ago, but they got rebuilt about 5 years ago. So those are those are good and solid now. No, I haven't heard any concerns about 4 to 5 in terms of water discharge into the septic system or sewer system. I think if it was a larger one, 15, 20 machines, then obviously that would be a thing. But
I agree. It doesn't appear to be an issue. Any comments from the board on that? I doubt there's a problem, but if anybody wants to weigh in, now's your chance. All right. Any other comments, questions?
We do have a comment that was from the Facebook page. Cynthia McAllister just wanted to note that she thinks a laundromat downtown would be well used. She has a washer and dryer in her home, but she still uses the laundromat near the IGA often. So she thinks that its location and would be useful to residents.
Good. All right. Other comments from the board or from the public? This again is a pretty simple one. The signage is new, but what's been proposed is well within the limits of the ordinance, so I don't see any issues there. The access appears good, and it's in the downtown area, so there's no parking requirements or anything like that in that village commercial. So pretty simple. Any concerns or comments?
The only thing I would add is I don't think it's an issue at all.
Yeah.
But since if it does end up being 5 washers and 5 dryers, because that's different than what the application said, that there might be a condition that staff just reach out before any occupancy permit is given to the water department and the water district and WPCF just to verify.
I think that would be a good idea. That was my concern. So we had something on the record so that the
Right.
town was protected. I wouldn't expect there'd be an issue, but might as well
Right.
ask the question. Do other board members agree? You can nod your head. I don't need to see the mute, unmute, but general consensus?
Agreed.
All right, there we go. Thumbs
fine.
up. Works for me too. Good. All right, yeah, and again, you notice in the recommendations, when we get to that step there, it does say that if more water is needed to operate the use, the applicant he'd bear that burden to upgrade the service. So
That was the only comment from the superintendent at the water district, was that it seemed fine, but if there needed to be an upgrade, it would be at applicant's expense.
very good. Any more questions, Jessica, from the public? Very good. If there's nothing left from the board, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Last call for comments. All right, I don't see any. So we were provided with some proposed findings of fact for this project. Kyle emailed you a draft for consideration yesterday afternoon so that we would have something to work off of again. And so the public understands these are just proposed. We will step through them. And if any concerns or changes come up as we go through these, we can amend them as we go. So I'm going to go through those now. These are proposed findings of fact for Cryptic Laundry LLC for their site plan review this May 20th, 2020, pursuant to Article 6, Section 18-177 of the Orono Code of Ordinances. The Orono Planning Board has considered the application of Cryptic Laundry LLC to place a laundromat within an existing structure at tax map 27-12, lot 16 in the Village Commercial District. And based on all evidence presented by the applicant, reviewing agencies, town departments, and the public found the following. So I'm going to step through these by number. I'd like either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Just I'm going with visual here so we can cruise through these. Requirements of the district. Number 1, that the proposed use is an allowable use in the Village Commercial District and that the proposal complies with the applicable dimensional requirements of the district. Are we okay with that? All right. Number 2, compliance with town ordinances and codes that the proposed use, structures, setbacks, buffers, and layout meet the provisions of applicable regulations of the town, including all pertinent sections of Chapter 18 Land Use Ordinance. Are there any questions? Or are we all good with that? All right. Number 3, utilization of the site, that this proposal does not involve any new construction and as a change of use does not disturb any environmentally sensitive areas. Are we okay with that? All right. Number 4, traffic and pedestrian access, that the use of the site does not require any parking and there is access to the building via the Pine Street parking lot. Are we okay with that? Storage of materials, number 5, that there will be no exposed storage of materials. Any issues there? Are we okay? All right. 6, stormwater management, that there is no new construction or impervious addition to the property and stormwater management will be handled the same as it is currently. Are there any issues there? Are we okay? Good. 7, erosion control, that there's no need for an erosion control plan due to the proposal only being a change of use within an existing structure. Everybody okay with that? All right, number 8. Water supply and sewage disposal, that the site can be served by off-site water supply and sewage disposal. Please note that we did discuss that that will be a condition of our approval. Should we vote that way, that it'll be confirmed by our town staff that will be okay. Everybody okay with that? All right. Utilities, that adequate provision has been made for all utilities. Are we okay there? Natural features, that there are no natural features on the site. Okay there? Number 11, groundwater and surface water quality protection, that the proposed use will not impact the quality or quantity of groundwater. Everybody okay with that? All right, number 12, hazardous special radioactive materials, that the use of the site does not involve the handling, storage, or use of hazardous special or radioactive materials. Are there any issues there? Are we okay? All right, 13, shoreland relationship, that the site is not within a shoreland area. Are we okay? All right, 14, solid waste management, that no changes to solid waste management are proposed. Good to go? All right, 15, historic and archaeological resources, that the site is not known to contain historic or archaeological resources. Are we okay with that? 16, financial capacity, that the applicant has the financial capacity to carry out the project. All set with that? All right, lastly, 17, noise and lighting, that the facility will operate within the noise and lighting standards and town ordinances. Are we okay there? All right. That went well. We have the applicant. Can I get a motion, please? And again, understand that we've just added, there's the recommendations in our review pack, and we have one minor change to those. So anybody game?
I'll motion.
Okay. You up, Joe? Okay, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'll
Did
make,
you-
yep. Can
All right.
you hear me? I'll make a motion, sure.
Right, so here's it's a typical procedure. So Judd, I'm gonna hand this one off to you, and Joe, just, usually we repeat the, pretty much what the item is on the agenda. And then there's typically, we can go to Kyle's review packet and go through the recommendations with any changes, and then there'll be a motion. So Judd, I'll let you can handle the next one, Joe. Judd, if you would run with this one, please.
Yes. Yes.
Sure. I move that we approve the application for a minor site plan review by Cryptic Laundry LLC at 44 Main Street, tax map 27-12, lot 16, with the following 4 recommendations or caveats. 1, the applicant will receive any necessary permits from the State Fire Marshal's office prior to obtaining an occupancy permit from the code enforcement officer. 2, the proposed sign will meet all standards of section 18-140 of the land use ordinance, and the code enforcement officer will review the proposed placement of the sign before issuing an occupancy permit. 3, if more water is needed to operate the use, it will be the applicant's expense to upgrade the service supplying the business. And 4, if it turns out that he wants to install 5 machines, he does need to go back to the water and sewer districts to confirm that that is okay.
Very good. Thank you, Judd. We have a motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Thank you, John. Further discussion? You're up, Jessica.
Joe,
Yes, I vote yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Krista,
Yes.
Sorry, let's move.
Dave,
Yes.
unanimous.
Very good. Thank you. Next up, we have a minor site plan review application for an accessory use at, oh, I'm sorry, jumping ahead. B, a minor site plan review application by the University of Maine Foundation for a parking lot expansion at 2 Alumni Place to add an additional 19 parking spaces. And I do see Sean and the applicant here as well. Could either one of you give us a summary of the application, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sean Thies with CES, representing the applicant tonight. Would you like me to share, do I have the ability to share my screen to bring up the site plan?
Hopefully.
Yeah, there should be, if you bring your mouse down to the bottom of your window, there should be a green button with an arrow that says share screen.
Okay.
There we go.
So the project is located at the Buchanan Alumni House on College Avenue. The UMaine Foundation is on a leased parcel, or the Buchanan Alumni House is on a leased parcel from the University of Maine. So College Avenue is here. This is the existing Buchanan Alumni House. There's a parking lot on the side here, some parking in the back, and then some more parking on this side of the building. There's a circular drop-off area here in the front. The proposal is two small areas. There's a strip here that you can see shaded that's a slight expansion, approximately 6 feet wide, of the paved area in the front of the building. The purpose of that is in the wintertime, when we start getting snow piled up here, it gets very tight for delivery vehicles to come through this circular area. And people sometimes pull over here to quickly run into the building. So they wanted to widen that a little bit to provide a little more room for that circular drop off. And then over on the side here in the shaded area, it's essentially a reconfiguration of sort of the parking area that exists now. It currently comes in and there's this circular area and there's a island, if you will, in the middle, which then flows into the parking lot in the back. What we're proposing to do is remove that island and reconfigure this as shown in the shaded area here to get some additional parking. They run into parking issues when there's larger events in the Alumni House building. So they're trying to gain some here. It's a, with what we're adding, and then we're also, as part of this, the area over here is existing pavement that we're taking out. So it's actually, it's a net increase of a little over 1,600 square feet of impervious area. And as required by DEP, we have an underdrain soil filter on this edge of the pavement to treat stormwater. We're actually treating almost 5,000 square feet of impervious area. So everything new that we're creating, plus some of the existing parking lot, which currently is not being treated, will be treated by this underdrain soil filter for potentially to offset some future work on the campus. There's no new lighting proposed. There's the relocation of one existing light. So as part of this parking, there's a small sidewalk section here that's being added, and there's an existing light that falls right in the middle of that sidewalk. So that'll just be moved to the back side, but there's other than that, there's no new additional lighting. And overall, this will be a gain of 19 parking spaces on the site. That's pretty much it. There's no other impacts to utilities or things like that to discuss. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. This one's pretty straightforward. Again, we can see Kyle's review. We'll get into that, but pretty minimal impact. Any immediate questions from the board? We will have another chance once the public hearing opens. Any initial questions for Mr. Thies? All right, Kyle, you provided a summary for us. Could you go over this? It seems pretty simple. One thing I did notice is that there's several waiver requests that we will have to act on. But if you could go over that, your summary that you provided to the board, please.
Sure. So the slide is in the university district. Since there's no new structures being added, there's not really a new use going into place since it's just the expansion of the parking lot. But the lot is a legal lot to begin with. Everything meets the dimensional requirements of the district. The applicant provided a copy of the agreement between the University of Maine Foundation and the university. There are no natural areas of concern, any wetlands or water bodies on the parcel that raised any concerns. We had our Public Works Director and Town Engineer take a look at the Stormwater Management and Erosion Control Plan, and they had no concerns with either of those. As far as our off-street parking standards in our ordinance, which were kind of the primary area to look at here, there's not too much that comes into play. The spaces and the travel way meet all of the requirements. And since it's 19 spaces, it doesn't trigger a couple of the standards that come into play once you start getting over 20 spaces. So for instance, providing vegetated medians and things like that, that's all for when you have more than 20 spaces. So this stays clear of that. As Sean mentioned, there's no proposed lighting, so we didn't have to worry about looking at that at all. Yeah, other than that, I think Sean covered everything, and there were no remaining issues or additional information needed by staff.
Again, Sean, you submitted everything. DEP has seen all this. I saw in the application packet, but has that been approved already, or is that pending?
No, actually, the applicant received that permit today, so it was good timing.
We just got a copy this morning as well.
Yep, very good. Again, questions from the board? Thank you for that summary, Kyle. All right, before we open up the public hearing, there were several waivers in the initial part of the packet provided by the applicant. So page 2, there's a letter of transmittal, and then the cover letter addresses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it looks like 9 waiver requests for different sections. So our first item is before we go into the public hearing is to act on those waiver requests. Kyle, do you want to just go over those, provide any insight to the board so that we can act on those?
Sure, I think that they could be waived in one motion.
Good answer.
I mean, there's a lot of things that the site plan, requirements or application, it requires a lot of things that don't come into play when there's no structure being created. When it talks about certain utilities and or signage or
Right. I mean, these were pretty straightforward waiver requests. I
Right.
hope the board had a chance to review these. The description or the rationale for the waivers is included.
I mean, for instance, the daily traffic generated by the use, I mean, the use isn't changing, the structure is the same, so there's no additional traffic expected. And if anything, by adding more parking, you're creating more opportunity to deal with that. Landscaping and buffering, that's already present on the lot, so no additional information is really needed there. Traffic impact analysis, that's for a major development, this is a minor development, so that's not really needed. So yeah, most of the things that were waiver requests were just not relevant to a project like this.
Very good. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, so we have multiple waivers. Can I get a motion, please?
I'm happy to move if you let me know how you want me to frame it.
So the waiver request, I imagine we could just probably, so something along the lines of, the Orono Planning Board would approve the waiver requests. I don't know if we could, it might be good to list them all out in the record, Lisa. I'm just thinking about it. So on that page 2, you could probably just go through there and just, without reading all of the text, just, maybe.
Do you want me to go
Whatever
through
is the simplest way to capture all 9 waiver requests with one motion. I guess I don't have any magic answer for you, but at least maybe address maybe the sections in the title, and then we'll go from there. Does that make sense? So, for instance, the waiver regarding section 18-168(5)B, the bearings and distances of all property lines. And then there's the italicized text, but that might save a little bit of time. But maybe we address them that way. Kyle, do you have any better suggestions? Whatever works.
I'm trying to pull up the ordinance real quick just to see if, a simple blanket statement works.
Okay. Or we just approve the waiver requests and everything's in the submission packet. So
right.
Maybe
that's available for public. I think that's enough.
Let's go with that. I like that answer. Let's keep it simple, Lisa.
Yeah, now I just have to remember what I got to say. Okay, so I move that we accept the waiver requests that were given to the board in the packet from in the packet on April 2nd, 2020. And these are available for the public to view. Is that good?
Works for me. Any additions to that? We have a motion. Can I have a second on that?
Second.
All right. Any discussion, edits to that works for me. Any comments? All right. Here.
How about we grant the waiver requests? Or we grant the waivers that were requested?
That's fine by me. Yeah. So motion. So as amended, on a planning board grants the waiver requests and everything else that Lisa said. We good with that? All right. I think we need to go around the horn again, Jessica.
Joe?
I vote yes.
Judd?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
I'm going faster than I can write here. Hold on. Lisa?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Very good.
Unanimous around the board.
Very good. Thank you, Jessica. All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. I feel like I got to bang something so that people can hear that, but I'm kind of clutching at that. But yeah, open up the public hearing. Jessica, do you have any comments?
No comments on this one.
Questions from the board? Pretty straightforward here. I think actually Jeremy Chubbuck would he'd probably have to recuse, so he's not here anyway. So So we won't deal with that. I really came up with nothing. The only thing, you know, the removal of trees, but Kyle mentioned in his summary that the landscaping is still sufficient, because I just wondered about that, but the existing plantings cover, you know, our ordinance, and it sounds like, you know, moving lighting, all those things. So it appears that everything that we typically ask questions about was addressed. All right.
I think we're safe on the trees because I believe they were planted when the building was put in, so they're not real big. And we
Okay.
have some, if they're not over a certain diameter, we don't have to worry about them.
Right. Very good. Any other comments? Nothing from the public, right, Jessica? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Last call for comments. All right, seeing none. Again, we have a proposed findings of fact for this project prepared by Kyle for our consideration. Again, I'm going to step down through these. So I'm going to get a drink of water before I do that. And then just speak up. We're going to go with thumbs up, thumbs down again, please. All right. These are the proposed findings of fact for the University of Maine Foundation site plan review dated May 20th, 2020, pursuant to Article 6, Section 18-177 of the Orono Code of Ordinances. The Orono Planning Board has considered the application of University of Maine Foundation for an amended site plan and the expansion of the parking lot area located at tax map 19-2, lot 72 in the University District, and based on all evidence presented by the applicant, reviewing agencies, town departments, and the public, found the following. Number one, requirements of the district, that the proposed amendment is allowable in the University District, and that the proposal complies with the applicable dimensional requirements of the district. Are we okay with that? Great. Number two, compliance with the town ordinances and codes, that the proposed use, structures, setbacks, buffers, and layout meet the provisions of applicable regulations of the town, including all pertinent sections of Chapter 18 Land Use Ordinance. We okay with that? Number three, utilization of the site, that this construction is within the natural capabilities of the site, is located in a suitable area of the site, does not disturb environmentally sensitive areas, fits with the existing topography of the site, and can accommodate any drainage associated with the construction. Are we okay with that? 4, traffic and pedestrian access, that the use of the site will remain the same and no increase in traffic is anticipated based on the proposed changes to the site. Are we okay with that? 5, storage of materials, that there will be no exposed storage of materials. We all set there? All right. 6, stormwater management, that the stormwater management plan adequately mitigates potential impacts in a way so that no adverse impact will be made on the surrounding stormwater systems or the environment. We all set? 7, erosion control, that the applicant has provided for erosion control both during construction and permanently that meet best management practices. All set there? 8, water supply and sewage disposal, that there is no change in water or sewer capacity needed. Any issues there? We all set? All right. Utilities, number 9, that adequate provision has been made for all utilities. We all set? 10, natural features, that the adequate provision has been made to preserve the natural features of the site. We all set? 11, groundwater and surface water quality protection, that the proposed project does not adversely impact either the quality or quantity of groundwater available to abutting properties or to public water supply systems. Are we okay with that? 12, hazardous, special, and radioactive materials, that the use of the site does not involve the handling, storage, or use of hazardous, special, or radioactive materials. Be okay there? Shoreland relationship, number 13, that the site is not within a shoreland area. We all set? 14, solid waste management, that no changes to solid waste management are proposed. We okay? 15, historic and archaeological resources, that the site is not known to contain historic or archaeological resources. We all set? 16, financial capacity, that the applicant has the financial capacity to carry out the project. Okay there? Lastly, 17, noise and lighting, that the facility will operate within the noise and lighting standards in town ordinances. Are we okay there? Very good. Next up, could I have a motion? Joe, you want to take a crack at this one?
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Let's see. Let me get my notes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal of application for the site plan. Change of parking, expand the parking area to increase parking, 19 spaces at 2 Alumni Place, tax map 19-2, lot 72 in the University District.
With the following recommendations on the last page of the packet that Kyle prepared for us. There's one recommendation. Please. Do you see that in Kyle's, the packet, his review packet? We just need to address the one recommendation that he provided to us. If you could add that, please.
I apologize, I cannot locate that.
That's all right. Anybody else? Or
Yeah.
maybe I can add that.
I have it.
Okay, you're up, Jed.
Thank you.
With the following recommendation that any and all conditions of approval from the original site plan approval remain in place.
Very good. We do have a motion. Thank the both of you. Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Very good. Lisa, I think you got it under the bell. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I'm
Hearing
good.
none. Jessica, back to you.
Joe,
Yes,
Judd,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Krista,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Very good. Congratulations. Next up, other new business.
Thank you, everybody.
You bet. Have a good night, Sean.
thank you.
Other new business, maybe we'll wait till discussion. There's no new business. The next item's discussion. Kyle, what do we have on tap for next month? Other than the Verizon.
So obviously the 36 Oak Street cell antenna project will be coming back unless some new development occurs. That'll be coming back next month's meeting. Next month's meeting will be on June 17th. I guess time-wise, I don't know what people's thoughts are on the 6:30. There was the 4 o'clock council workshop. We were going to try to do this meeting a little earlier, but then with that workshop, we had to end up moving it back, but we ended up being a half hour earlier than usual. So I'd like to hear people's thoughts on start time. And it looks like there could be potentially a couple other applications coming forward for next month. And as well as we still have the fill ordinance
That's right.
we tabled from February, I believe. We didn't do it this month because we wanted to keep the agenda somewhat small, as this was the first time we were doing the remote meeting. We wanted to just not do too much at once to make sure everything was working. So we could bring that back as well for the final discussion next month.
I guess, if you could judge that, so, I guess be gentle with us if we have,
Right.
obviously, my understanding is the one item that was tabled might take some time.
Yes.
And if we have others, I'm just going to ask you to just kind of weigh those and see whether we have time. We could put it on the agenda, and if we happen to be running long, I know we bumped our meeting time up, but I guess we could play that by ear. And if we do happen to go later and we choose to table it, I guess I could leave that, we discuss that as a board next time.
If I could interject for a moment, Mr. Mylan has left us a question in our Q&A to remind everyone that the June meeting will be remote as well.
Okay.
Right, that's already been set. So even if we happen to be back in the office, the meeting is still going to be remote. So, but since there were a couple, I think, issues that came up with the digital packets. So I think next month we'll probably be able to be in and out of the office a little more frequently. So we should be able to get the normal physical packets out to everyone next month.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to request that because
Yep.
I'd prefer not to have to print all that here just personally, but that would be good. I would, again, this is just from my own perspective. There's a chance I might be doing some work travel, just day trips across the border. And I don't think an earlier meeting will work for me. If I know 6:30, I can figure it out to be back in the state and try to make that. So I wouldn't want to commit, just personally, not that I have to be there, but that's my perspective on that. Any other comments? Leave it at the same time.
6:30 is fine with me.
Others?
6:30 is fine with me.
6:30?
I can do
Okay.
any of them.
Okay. All right. So Kyle, if we could just leave it at the same time, please.
Yep, I'll verify at the calendar that works, and I'll let everyone know.
Good.
Okay. It seemed to go smoothly. Thanks for your patience. It seemed to work. I guess everybody's adapting to some slightly different conditions in the past couple months, but this is kind of the way we are for a while. So, all right, very good. So that's a discussion. Next up, adjournment. Can I get a motion, please?
I move, go ahead. I move we end the meeting.
Very good. Lisa?
I'll second.
All right. Good discussion. No, all those in favor? Actually, Jessica, let's we'll be formal. You've been just nailing this, so we'll go around again.
Joe,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Phil.
Yes.
1 second, sorry. Krista,
Yes.
Dave,
Oh, Dave, you're muted.
Dave,
I can read his lips. I think that was a yes.
a thumbs up, okay.
Yeah. Good to see you all. We'll see you in a month. Stay safe.
You too.
Yep.
Night,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Yes, you too.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.